Everyone enjoys getting out on the town for some live music. And there's nothing like going backstage and down the hall for a VIP pass to the inside information and interviews with the bands, singers, and songwriters that you enjoy. Welcome to Hall Around Town Radio's Backstage Hall Pass, a showcase of talent, mixing independent music with personal interviews and a behind-the-scenes look at our music community. Backstage Hall Pass is your front row center seat to some great conversation with the area's most talented artists. Whether you like rock, blues, folk, country, or R&B, Backstage Hall Pass delivers you a daily dose of the stories behind the music. And now, here's the host of the show, Scott Hall.
Hey, everybody. Welcome. Welcome to Backstage Hall Pass, a new little segment today. We're going to try something new. We've been doing Top 5 Tuesday for a long time. Before that, it was On This Day in Music. And today, we're going to change it up a little bit, and we're going to do a Hot Topic Tuesday. This one's been coming up a lot lately. A lot of people writing in, calling in, doing all kinds of fun stuff about this one. And it's between venue owners and bands, it's kind of a slippery slope sometime. And we're going to talk today about how to get your band booked without being annoying as hell. That's just it in a nutshell. And yeah, so there's the hot topic, Glenn. I know you, Glenn's only on YouTube, so he doesn't see my lead-ins on the Book of Face. But that's the hot topic. Hi, Jim Kilroy. Thank you for being here. Stephen Bell in the house. Thank you for joining us today. And any of you musicians or folks out there who are part of this, please chime in today as we start talking about this. It's been sparked numerous times by several folks who have talked to me recently about, I don't know, just they're venue owners and they're frustrated with bands who are getting, during the pandemic, everybody was like lovey-dovey and all this. And now all of a sudden it's become this hateful thing. If you don't get answered in 15 minutes, you're going to send a hate message back. That's not always a good idea. And we're going to chat about that a little bit today and see what it's like to be a person on the other end out there who's trying to get their band booked also, which can be frustrating. And Tuesday Talks. Thank you, Joe, for the new tagline. Thank you for that. Well, I don't know. We're just trying something new. This gets frustrating sometimes. Hi, Carolyn. Thank you for dropping in. I miss you too. I hope to see you soon. Stephen Bell from Don't Tell Steve in the house. He's the Steve in that title. Jeff, what's going on, Mr. Pound Town? Good to have you with us. My good friend John B-Man Bolio in the house. How you doing, B-Man? Good to have you with us today. Always good to see you. And Jim Klontz from Drive. Thank you, Jim, for dropping in. Mark Robinson in the house from Sweet Sister Mercy. Coming off a big weekend of music for them. And they got all kinds of good stuff going on. And you're going to see Sweet Sister Mercy on the show soon. Our Wednesdays aren't working out real well for the next couple of weeks, but we're going to get them on here. And you're going to get to hear something that I am so happy to have in my hand. And these guys did a great job with it. So we're looking forward to having Sweet Sister Mercy with us. So let's get right into the frying pan, so to speak, today. And we've got some musicians on here. Let's talk about musician approach. And if I get any venue owners, we'll try to get them dialed in as well today. But let's talk about musicians' approach to getting booked as a band. And let's talk about it. This is not like buying I guess a car, We're not in a negotiation, but some people think it is. So let's chat about that. If any of you musicians want to chime in out there, throw it in there and let me know what you think. I did see a gentleman in Cincinnati yesterday posted on this topic, and we were talking about some things and whether or not you should have a fit for the venue. So many people are booking right now just based on volume and trying to get booked in everywhere. And not every venue's for every band or artist. As you probably know, if you're playing music, there are nights you play places and you're like, oh, that wasn't the best. And it's got to be a marriage between the crowd, the venue, and the musician to make it work and to make money for the venue, obviously make money for the band, and try to get some gigs going. And so if you're out there, I'd love to hear some comments today. If you can type in the comments anything that you think about this topic, I'm going to give you my take on it. And what I hear from a lot of venue owners is just plumb hatefulness out of some bands. You're going to win more if you're nice, and definitely going to win more if you're nice. And yeah, here's Nicholas. Let's see what he has to say. He said, had the privilege of booking some shows in larger music focused cities like Austin and Nashville. And a lot of venues will communicate explicitly what the protocol is. There you go. And yeah, because it is kind of a, gosh, I guess for lack of a better term, chaotic thing to book with certain venues. Certain venues want something. Some venues want EPKs, and those have been argued back and forth on whether or not that's a good thing or a bad thing. Do you have a website? I will tell you, if you want to get booked as a band, though, you certainly want to do a couple things. And one is keep your social media up to par, and don't let people tag you in videos where there's nobody take offense to this. They will, but some girl singing off key on camera that they can't see, and they think it's the band. And it's well, that's just part of it, but we'll get to some of that. Let's see what else we've got here coming in. Thank you, Nicholas. Keep writing, man. I want to hear from you. Thank you for that. That was a great comment. And Mark says too much to text. Well, I am going to take some phone calls today. And there's my friend Karis from The Bell and the Bear. How you doing, Karis? Thank you for dropping in. You'd be good to chime in on this topic. Why don't you call me and let's get a venue perspective first, and then we'll talk to some musicians maybe today. Only got a half hour to get it in, so we're going to have to roll it here. Nicholas, I'll keep your comment up there for people to see. EPKs, you're talking about that. A lot of people do. Other bands think it's a waste of time. I would say that it's always good, even as a band. A lot of people do not use websites anymore, but if you have a website, it's a good place to direct venue owners. And hold on, I'm getting a call here. Let me dial in here if I can. If I can get this going, I'm trying here. Hang on there, Karis. I'll see if I can get you dialed in here in just a moment. I'm not connecting to the board for some reason, so stand by just a moment, and let's see what we can do. All right, so hold on. Hold the phone if you can, and let me see what's shaking here. Well, maybe. There we go. Let's connect. Let's connect to the board. Karis, you with me?
I'm here. I'm in my car.
Okay, good.
Driving. What's going on?
Well, we're talking about a hot button topic today, especially for you folks in the venues, and that's booking of bands and how many calls you get a week and how many messages you get a week. And maybe you can shed a little. I know. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. I picked the evil Karis.
How long do we got here?
I've only got a few minutes.
Yeah, it's an obscene amount, but I get it. Like, I get the fact that everybody's trying to get booked because there's only so many venues, but there's a lot more bands and they're all venues. But I think it's really more about the way that you approach it is, in my opinion, for me, what's going to get a person booked. Off stage and on stage and on social media and everything like that. That's just my personal opinion. Sometimes it's not necessarily your talent, because you could be the most talented band in the world, but if you are poor people, like this, not nice people, you're definitely not going to get booked. Or if you demand a certain price, you won't even take anything lower because you're just so good. Again, that doesn't make sense, especially if you've never even played at that venue to begin with, or if you're too good to play at a jam, you definitely aren't going to get booked. That's for sure.
Well, hold on a minute. I've got a question. So
Yeah.
you're going all over the place on me here, which I knew you would. I'd love you for that.
Oh, sorry.
But
Sorry
no,
about that.
I want to start with, how often should a band or a musical artist try to contact you? Because I know they can be absolutely sometimes annoying with the daily or weekly messages. How often should you say is good for them to contact you? Because you do get busy and you forget things. I do.
Three times. The number is 3. The number is 3 times. First, because sometimes it takes a while. Second, because you're going to give them one more shot. And third, because nobody needs to be bothered more than 3 times. And if you are, then you're probably not going to get booked. There's probably a reason why they're not getting back to you.
Do you try to get back to
3.
everybody that messages you?
I try, but I fail. And that's why I have an automatic message that says, please be patient. But if you're going to continue to message, and if you're going to be rude about it and not introduce yourself, then I'm probably not going to message you back.
And I've got to say hi to Heather. Thank you, Heather Linville, for being on here. You're coming up as Facebook user, so there's a little way. I'll put a little clip up here at the end of the show so you can get your profile put in here. It's real simple to do, but you're getting denied right now access, but I can see you on the iPad on actually the Book of Face. So, Karis, you're saying 3 times, three strikes. If you go to a 4th strike, you're automatically out, or you just go to the annoying file?
You go to the annoying pile, and you're most like there's, after 3 times. I mean, really, how many chances? I mean, 3's that number. It's three times. There's obviously a reason, and it's not like we try. I don't think anybody tries to completely avoid it, but sometimes things get in the way. But I would never ever hassle somebody more than 3 times, because that's just annoying. All
right, and for those of you that are just joining the show, I am on the phone calling in today. Jumping on this hot topic is Karis from the Bell and the Bear. It's an award-winning venue down in Montgomery, Ohio. Strictly a music venue, guys. It is all about the music and that down there. And Karis, we appreciate your input on this. So
I want to also say that I've had to contact certain bands. I put myself on a three contact minimum as well. There's certain bands that I can't get a hold of, and I don't want to be that annoying person, So I take my place. All right, you're not interested. We're not interested.
So do you reach out to bands sometimes yourself, or do you rely on them all to reach out to you? That's another question.
No, I reach out to bands. I do reach out to bands that I have gotten really good feedback from. When people are like, have you heard of this band? You should reach out to them, just to see where they're at, what the deal is, because I'd like to, perhaps they'd work here. There's no ego here. There's no pride issue here. You know what I mean? If I think a band's going to work, I'm going to contact them, and I hope for the best.
Yeah. And, so often I get shown messages from venue owners, and I know you probably had these too. It's one of those, hey, I'm with certain band. We're the greatest band of all time. The Eagles open for us, that kind of crap. So, people don't blow smoke up anybody either. And then when you're asked, can you play a 3-song set? You don't have 3 songs, or, you don't have 3 hours.
So, here's the thing. Don't put your ego aside. Nobody is better than anybody else. Venues and bands should work together. That's the whole point. They're both a business, and you should work together, not against each other. Don't be an asshole. Even if they're being, it goes both sides. Just don't. If you don't want to understand or hear what an owner is saying, then don't expect a pleasant response. And it goes vice versa. And also, I have to say, you go above and beyond for musicians and venues, like above and beyond. And I think people should be very thankful with that, and very, I just want to thank you for what you do. And if anybody's being a little shit, just know that I have your back. 100%. I have your back.
Can I say, oh, shucks. Oh, shucks. Thanks. But people get mad. I got a message this weekend from a band that said, basically kind of a crap message about how I hadn't come to see them yet. There are 800,000 bands. Yeah,
there's one of you in 800,000 bands, and you have grandchildren, a wife, and a life. How are you supposed to get to all these places?
I can't.
I don't understand that. You can't.
And there's
nice people.
There's nights where I get to 3 in a night even, and that's too much. I mean, you're not even spending time with anybody. You're just stopping in saying, "Hey, how you doing?" and using it basically to report on. And it's not a good view of the band when you're showing up like that. So it's interesting.
No, it's
this whole topic. Let me mention something to you because I know you're going to agree with this. This gentleman out of Cincinnati in his post yesterday said the squeaky wheel may get the grease on something mechanical, but in booking, it puts you in my blocked folder. So basically saying, if you're going to blow me up every day with a message, you're not going to get booked.
Absolutely not. You will definitely not get booked if you blow me up every day at all.
And now on the other side of that, let me be the little guy on your shoulder. The other side of that is a lot of people don't realize. And when you're a bar owner, okay, or a venue owner, you've got a lot of responsibilities. I mean, you're paying taxes, you're ordering, if you've got a food operation, you're ordering food, you're doing all kinds of stuff because you can't afford to hire a bunch of staff to run the place.
I think people think bar owners are these multimillionaires, and let me tell you, we're not. Okay.
I know you.
So, yeah.
But he's exactly right. If you're going to annoy the crap out of somebody, then it's not going to work. And I tell people all the time too, people get pissed at us if you don't answer them right away in a message. Sometimes I'm just too much going on.
I had somebody get mad at me just recently. They gave me so much attitude via messenger because they said we want to play at your venue. We don't have a full 3 sets. We have about an hour's worth, but we can play with. You can fill us in with some other band. But we'd like a gig there. We've only been playing. We're brand new, and we've only been playing a couple of months. But we'd like a shot there. I politely said, "Listen, I'm all for giving people a shot. Why don't you come to the jam and play a couple of songs, and we'll see how you do, and then we'll work towards that. Are you going to book me or not?" That was the response.
Wow. That's pretty abrupt.
I said, "No, I'm not going to book you."
That's interesting.
Don't be rude. This is a learning. What are you doing? Are we just supposed to book everybody and anybody?
Well, let me ask you this: what makes you? I got to get you off your soapbox for a second. What makes you book a band? What really attracts you? Let's say it's a new band, and you have a lot of repeat offenders that come in and play all the time, and they draw a great crowd, and those are your standards. But what would make you want to take a peek at somebody and say, "Okay, let's give them a shot. Let me book them." What kind of attitude or what kind of responses?
First of all, I'm going to tell you right now, some of the bands I book might not be technically the greatest sounding band to people, but they're the nicest people I've ever met. And that sometimes is far more important than being technically sound. 100%.
I've heard that from a lot of venue owners.
They may not have a following. They may not make me $1, but they deserve to be up there because they're good musicians and they're good people. If you don't have a passion for what you do, I will be able to tell the second you go on stage, and that will be the last time you go on stage. This is about entertaining and loving what you do. Music fills the soul for every single person involved. And if you look like a dead fish up there, then don't bother doing it. And I definitely won't hire you.
Okay, folks, there's that. You've heard that now.
It's true. It's true, though. Music literally soothes the soul. And if you don't believe that, then how am I supposed to believe that? You have to show that up on stage.
Well,
it's music, for goodness sakes.
What's the bottom line, Karis? I mean, what's the bottom line? The bottom line is you're in a business. You have to make money. You can't afford to have a band come up and the first 3 songs, everybody in your venue goes somewhere else. That's one.
Here's the bottom line. Here's the bottom line for any time there's live music. Keep the slow songs to yourself. Keep the dance floor full. Be nice, people. and bring a crowd. The second you clear a dance floor is the second that bar's lost some money. The second you give attitude and start being a rude person is the last time you'll play on that stage. And do as much advertising as you can, because the more people you bring, the more money that bar makes, and which means the more money you make. If you can't work together, then what's the point of doing it?
Well, I just had a venue owner tell me last weekend when I was out that told me they have a band that plays once a month at their venue. And they said, this band is not the greatest band ever. They sing off key a lot. They don't, they're just up there having fun doing it. And they said that band brings them more people every month than
100%.
most of the big bands. So that's why they get booked. It's not always
100%.
about the talent. The talent is important, but it's not always all just rolled into I'm great.
It's not always about the talent. 100%. It's about more than that. We are human beings and people. And you know what? It pays to be good human beings. 100%. Well,
and there's a different circuit out there. There's a different circuit. There's the, as we call it, the bar circuit. There's the bigger venue circuit, which then becomes, a step up and they pay more and all that. And then there's the touring circuit. And if you're good enough to be on the touring circuit, be humble enough to come put an acoustic guitar in your lap and sit on a stool like Dave Moody does and play for a crowd.
100%. 100%. If you think you're too good to go to a jam or throw an acoustic just because you're on tour, look at Danny Laverty, Kathy's son, who's on tour with Jeff Tate. This guy, every time he's in town, comes and plays the jam for free because he loves it, because he's such a good soul. And these bands that get booked, they may charge this absorbent amount for these big festivals, but when you're playing for a bar, you can't charge that much. We only make so much money.
Right.
We're not like these big festivals. We can't afford that. We wish we could, but we can't. And I always say to bands, I may not be the place for you because I can't afford what you should be making. And I leave it up to them to decide if they want to take a hit. But to be rude to venue owners because they can't pay you what you want, well, that's just absurd.
I've got a good comment on the screen right now that E posted. He said, know your worth. Don't be asking for what main acts get on routine when you're building a following and just trying to get exposure. So and E, don't take offense to this either. I hate the term exposure. Playing for exposure, a lot of venue owners use to get free music, and that's not what they're into. Now, I will tell you, the Bell and the Bear Jam on Thursday night, Karis, is a unique opportunity for people because you're playing with a house band of people who are technically very competent, and they do an incredible job of keeping that energy level up. And that's why you can't walk in with, 3 Tear in Your Beer songs and expect to get up on the stage on Thursday night. There's an energy level to it. And there's an energy level to bands who are out there playing. And you said it best earlier. If you fill a dance floor and people are up dancing and drinking and having fun, they're staying. If you're not doing that, then look at what your worth is. Yes.
Yeah.
And
if you are okay with watching people leave the dance floor, if you're okay with that, then there's something wrong there. Like your goal is to make people happy. My goal is to make people happy. My goal is to keep that spirit high, and that should be the musician's goal as well. Not for an empty dance floor.
Right. And I will tell you, Joe Coles just said a great thing. He says he messages once a week for 3 or 4 weeks, and if he doesn't get a response, he stops. He says kind of in his head, message received with that, and he gets it. But I will tell you, I have friends who play in bands, and one of them who really disappointed me over the summer by a response they sent back to a venue owner. And the venue owner said, "You're just out of my price league." And the only response back from the band was your loss. That's just plain rude. That's plain rude.
How rude is that?
It is. And
if anybody ever said that to me, I would just laugh and I'd be like, I don't actually think it is my loss. I'm actually saving money. I don't even understand that. That's just absurd to me. That's rude. Just because we can't afford you, that's our loss? No.
And you've got a venue that only seats so many people. You can't, you're not the Blue Note. You can't pack, 900 to 1,000 people in.
And my drink prices are super low. So
They
there's
are.
only so much that I can afford, which is, I hate charging a cover because I truly believe that music venues should provide entertainment. But to get certain bands, you do have to charge a cover. I get that. So I charge a minimal cover when I have to. And every single penny of that cover goes straight to the band. I don't take a penny of that. It all goes straight to the entertainment. And I think people need to realize we don't want to have to, well, I would say 90% of the people don't want to have to charge a cover. But there are certain bands that we know will bring the crowd, that will bring the people, that bring the good vibes, that are good people, that we will charge a cover for. But you guys need to know that goes straight to the entertainment that you're coming to the bar to see. So just keep in mind, don't be a jerk. When somebody can't afford your price, don't be a jerk about it. We can't afford it.
Karis, and I will say one thing. One pet peeve, venue pet peeve I have, and I've seen it happen time and time again, is that a venue will say to an artist, "It's not my job to fill seats, it's yours." Well, it's a two-way street.
It's both.
Yes, it's
both
a two-way street. And if a venue's relying on the artist to bring in people, then the venue needs to wake up and realize you got to put asses in your seats too, in order to get this person who's playing a little bit of a following there. Maybe when they come back the next time, it'll fill it.
That is laziness on the venue owner's part. That is not right. It is both. You are supposed to work together with that band. The venue owner and the band are supposed to work together. If one person isn't advertising, then that person doesn't, that's just not fair. I just said to a band just a couple of weeks ago, I will book you, but I can't pay this price. What I'm willing to do is I need to know that you're going to do as much advertising as I'm going to do. And then I can pay you, above of our sales. And I always do that. If we make a certain amount, I'll always give the band more, And if they're okay with that, then that works out great. But there's some bands that don't even advertise at all. They'll make an event the day before the show or the night of the show. And then they expect all of this money. Well, that's not fair to me. I'm on social media promoting about 4 hours a day. I'm on my social media, like a minimum of 4 hours a day, making posters, making events for all the bands, doing everything. The least and I have 7 events that a week, and the people have 2, and you can't make an event like the week prior. It's just not right.
Boy, am I glad you called today. I am so glad.
The bands and the venue need to work together. We're supposed to be a team. Because without the venues, you don't have the bands. The bands don't have a place to play, and without the bands, the venues don't have the entertainment. So just work together. Nobody is greater than the other. We both need each other. Steve from Mad Hatter said it best. Just be nice. Just be nice. It's plain and simple partnership is what he says. How hard is it to be nice? And how crazy is it to think that one band in Cincinnati thinks that they're so much better than somebody else, or two so much better than this venue or that venue or this band or that band, that they think they have the audacity to be rude to somebody. How crazy is that? Where do you get off? That's not nice. And E, thanks for that comment about Nashville too. I've seen that time and time again. I mean, that is right there. Venues that are making killer money on Broadway, especially, who don't pay the artist anything. You work for tips. Now, I know some guys that play there. They make a lot of money because they work the tip thing, but they spend more time working the tip jar than they do working the stage. And that's the sad part about it. And that's what I like about the Thursday Jam. I mean, they throw a bucket down on the floor and say, hey, if you want to contribute, throw it in there, but please take care of the servers, bartenders, everybody first. I mean, I admire that out of that group of musicians, but they're all pros. They've been there forever. And, you've got a good thing going where you are with music, and you've become known as the place to go see live music. There's several in Cincinnati that are really good venues. And like I said, I love going to the Blue Note, but some of these bands playing the Blue Note aren't going to play your place. First of all, they're too big. Right. And secondly, they want too much money. And if they'll bring the price down and do a
stripped down version or something one night, then maybe they will play a smaller venue. But, you know, some guys just want to play once a month. I saw Mick Blankenship's on here. He's in that quagmire of artists where he was a touring artist opening for Puddle of Mud and people like that. And as he's out there on the road, it's not as glamorous as people think. Talk to Mick sometime if you want to know the shit basically he went through the entire time on a tour. And it's just crazy, this whole thing. And I'm so glad you called, because did you just flush a toilet, by the way?
No, I'm driving.
Oh, it sounded like you flushed a toilet in the background.
No, I just want to put this. Just want to say one thing. There should be no ego, not from the venue owners, booking agents, or the musicians. An ego is going to get you nowhere, in my personal opinion. Don't be too good for anything.
Right. And whatever you do, once you get the gig, don't do anything stupid on stage that's going to make you not come back. And I mean, you've seen it. I've seen it. And, you know,
keep your clothes on, please. Stop taking your clothes off, people.
Stupid usually equals something like wild turkey or tequila or that, and too many drinks the band member has, and then all of a sudden there's some stupid things going on.
Yeah, when musicians, don't drink too much. Keep some of your comments off of the microphone. Just be nice. Like, we're all adults here. Jeez.
Thank you, Nick Winters. That's a great comment as well. You know, it's very easy to pick out your humble musicians he's talking about. Nick's one of those. He's very humble. He plays. He appreciates his crowd. And that's why he's so popular with people. And there's a lot of comments rolling in. We've got a lot of viewers on today. We appreciate it for this new little thing we're doing, Hot Topic Tuesday. And Karis, you have made the show by calling in. Absolutely. There's so much more to address on this topic, but in a nutshell, all we can say that's come out of this is basically it's a partnership. Work together, be nice.
Yes.
And, you know, as my friend Heather down here in Springboro always says, she's booking bands all summer long and she's trying to get her, lineup done ahead of time. And people don't realize she's also ordering, freaking chicken to serve in the restaurant.
Oh my God.
And, things like that.
So much to do. It's insane. So I get probably a minimum a day of 15 messages, a minimum of just 15 messages of bands. But I also have about 7 hours, seven like 100 other messages from other things. Like, just chill out, guys. Like, everybody needs to just chill. Like, just take a step back and remember there's other people involved in this, and we can't always meet you at the time that you need us in.
And I want to end with one comment here today. Brian Schutz posted on here. He's with the band Party Punch. And he says he understands your point. He says they get sticker shock a lot. And he says, I think they get dismissed too soon because of sticker shock. They have to be pretty firm because they have around 70K invested in sound, lights, and gear and blah, all that stuff. And I get it. I mean, I do. 5 people with families, limited schedules, such. They book pretty far out, he says. His request would be for the venue owners not to immediately dismiss based on pricing and have a conversation. I would agree, Brian, 110%, but I would also agree this is not like going into a car deal where you throw the band throws the high deal out like the dealer would and takes something way down at the bottom. Get close to your price and talk about it with the owner, and don't come in with, because there's not any little bars in town going to go $1,700. Now I know you guys don't do that, but something when a band walks in and says that.
I don't think I've ever dismissed somebody straight up like that. I have said many times, I'm not sure we're the right venue for you because I can't. If that is what you usually make, then I can't pay that. That's just way out of my budget. I don't think that I've ever said I'm always going to have a conversation. I think the thing is, a lot of musicians that we personally have dealt with aren't willing to have a conversation. So I think it's on both sides. I'm sure there's, I think on both ends, we're both, musicians and venue owners are getting the shit end of the stick from poor mannered people is what it's coming down to. Right. Neither one of us have an easy job, but, we're going off of our personal experience.
And I'm going to tell you too, I've heard it.
I never want to lowball anyone ever. It's insulting. I used to manage bands back in Toronto, so I get it, but
Well,
Just be
Karis,
nice.
I've heard from a lot of venue owners as well, and that's another sticky subject is who you have doing your bookings. And sometimes the band doesn't know who's doing the bookings and what they're saying. And I will tell you, if your band girlfriend, no offense to the ladies out there, or wife or whatever, is your booking agent, you're making a mistake. No. You're making a mistake.
Yeah, no.
They want to talk to the band.
I won't deal with any booking agent. I won't deal with any booking agents. I want to talk to the band. I won't do it.
Well, you know, you had Gary Hoy and Britt Lightning there for the Women Who Rock thing. You weren't talking to some agency for them. You were, you were talking to them direct, and you've had that happen time and time again. It's easy to do, and these people are human beings. I mean, believe me.
And Britt Lightning's coming back, guys. So,
I know. Yeah, I'm ready for that.
You have time to talk to a venue owner. And listen, a lot of the venue owners are the ones that are that are doing the booking. So just keep that in mind. I won't let anybody else do my booking. I want that relationship with the musicians, because it's a very important relationship.
Yeah, and we're going to have future shows on this where we talk about how long is an appropriate band break and how long should you play and those kind of things. That'll be at a future time, and those are all hot button topics as well. But I think this one's gone well today. I'm glad you called in. I did not get time to have a musician call in, so if there's somebody out there with some perspective from the musicians angle, we could continue this next Tuesday as well and have the musicians chat a little bit, because I get it. I get all of it. I get both sides of it.
I feel like I was fair on both sides.
I think you're passionate. I do. And you're not an ass. I mean, people sometimes think because somebody is passionate and somebody believes in their standards for their place, they're an ass to them. And that's not true. It's certainly a two-way street, and often a slippery slope as to how people take things. And you're getting a lot of love here in the comments. You'll have to go back and look at them later. But some great love you're getting, and a lot of people saying that you should drop the mic on the things you said today. And and hate messages, Nicholas, hate messages come from all directions. I get them. As stupid as this little show is we do, we get them because I haven't been somewhere.
It's crazy to me that you get hate messages, considering everything you do for free, and you do it for the love of music, and all you're doing is helping people. It is insane to me that somebody would be mean to you, and it drives me crazy.
Well,
I cannot comprehend that.
And it's just there's people that are jealous of things. I always post about once a year on my page. I'm in competition with no one. I hope we all succeed, and that's the way it is.
There shouldn't be competition about anything. We need to all work together. That's it.
Steve from Mad Hatter said, "Can I clone you?" I wish we could clone her. I wish she would be the venue owner in a lot of places, because she does a fantastic job. And if you haven't been to her place, I'll do a shameless plug.
I'm sure I have haters, and I apologize if I've ever offended you. Well, sort of, not really, but usually if I have haters, it's because there might have been a miscommunication, or I was just in a really bad mood. So I apologize.
You offend me every damn day. You offend me often. So there, how's that? I love you, my dear. Thank you for calling in.
All right. I love you.
All right. I'll see you soon. Yeah. And thank you guys for watching today. We've run out of time. I have to be at Mr. Burroughs Tavern to host some trivia tonight, and hopefully not talk about how to get booked. Night. Thank you, dear. I hope not to talk anything about how to get booked tonight, and just have some fun. So, yes, stand by for part 2. As Carrie said, the band side next Tuesday. We'll just bring it to you then. So thank you so much. Thank you, Bill, for that comment. We appreciate you, Party Town. Thank you for saying she books great bands. And guys, we'll see you next time here at All Around Town Radio. Don't forget to tune in for what we really do on Thursday. It's called Who's Playing Out, brought to you by Froggies in Monroe, and it'll feature the best bands, solo artists, duos, and venues in the tri-state. So thank you so much. We'll catch you next time. Until then, bye, everybody. Get out and support live local music.